What's up, my beautiful listeners? Welcome back for another episode of Unlocking Success with yours truly, Eric Eclipse, and myself, Rich Homie Vang. It's a beautiful day. We're not going to waste any time. We're going to get right into the subject. Today, we're going to be talking about living life permission-free and how your future self will thank you for it. As discussed by The Art of Improvement, a channel on YouTube. Great channel. Check them out. So before we start, I want to preface, if topics sound repetitive, it's because it probably is. We, along with others enlightening you with information on how you can improve your life through yourself, are really trying to drive certain principles home. Lots of factors cloud our senses to understand concepts, so we have to use different forms of communication and explanations. So, we can all grasp what we're trying to talk about. But as children through our adolescence, we had to ask permission from our parents, our caretakers, to do what we wanted. Whether it was going outside to play, hanging out with friends, or having a cookie from the cookie jar, we always had to ask. It was, something we're brought up and learned. You would say.
Yeah, no, 100%. Well, all right, here's the biggest one for me. Everyone's experienced this, right? Going on a school field trip or some shit, right? You can't do anything on that school field trip unless you got permission and or with someone. To a certain extent, this makes sense, but other times it's very annoying. Or depending on what kind of parents you had, if you go on like a family trip, right? You can't do anything by yourself. You have permission. Man, fuck having permission.
Yeah, or, going back to that example for school field trips, you needed permission slips.
Oh, yeah.
From said guardians to sign off on that.
Yeah.
And, although being children, this was often important to keep us safe, many of us will carry this type of necessity for permission through to adulthood, thus creating a belief to need permission and approval from our parents, friends, and even society when it comes to living the life we want.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they said, after 18, you're an adult. You can do as you please. But from our upbringing through our adolescence, it wasn't like that. And it's quite difficult to unlearn what you've learned or what you've been brought up.
Yeah, it's like
to believe.
Yeah. It's talked about before with your subconscious brain, but it's the same thing, right? When you're born as a kid, right, you got this brand new hard drive, aka your brain, your subconscious brain. And as you're going older, things are getting thrown in there, like these things that Michael just said, right? So it's very difficult when you've been programmed your whole life to abide by set boundaries or whatever, to just suddenly change it without thinking that something's wrong or that you're doing the wrong thing. So yeah, it makes sense. And yeah, if you're one of those people, you gotta go get that shit cleaned out. Because especially if you're an adult now, man, you don't gotta listen to nobody. Unless you want to, but yeah.
Someone once said, we hold on to the tradition of what everyone else has done and what everyone else believes we should do. But the problem with, holding on to such beliefs is that we give up what we want as individuals. We seek permission from others on how we should live our lives and seek approval on if the way we choose is right or wrong. An example would be the subject, we think we should study at college versus what others want us to study.
Mm-hmm.
What type of jobs we should take. And also we'll say, what partners we should date. And, essentially we want to follow what others deem are best for us because, we were raised that way. We were raised thinking, okay, because, we're not quote unquote 18 yet, we can't make decisions on our own, so those making decisions for us are making the best ones. And if, those choices that they've made for us have got us this far, then, we should be all right to keep allowing those individuals to make such choices for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Don't really have much to add to that, but yeah, 100%.
So, we must understand that the wanting to seek permission from others may be based on respect for the other person whom we are seeking such permission from. But if it goes against what you truly want for yourself, you are not respecting yourself in your life. And, we could put this in a family aspect. Out of respect, you're going to want to listen to, we'll say, something your family members ask of you, and think that what they think is best for you to go upon. But if you don't have the same viewpoint as them, and it necessarily just goes against what you think, or something against what you want to do, it's either, are you going to respect yourself because it's your life, or are you going to respect them because it's whoever.
Yeah, it's your parents or whatever. Yeah, and depends at that point if you can even quantify who makes good decisions and or who gives good advice. Because at that point, one, you might not know what's best for yourself, and someone who's can give you valid advice probably does know. And then there's the flip side where you ain't gotta take advice from this goddamn person. What the fuck do they know? Just because they're older than you doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to have respect for others. It's good to just be kind.
Yeah.
And open to people's
other
interpretations and opinions.
Yep.
But, we've already put this analogy before. When shit goes down on a plane and the gas mask and air mask come down, you gotta put your mask on first. You gotta respect yourself first before you respect others.
Yeah, you gotta worry about yourself. Yeah, be selfish in that regard. It's important. If not, you're gonna die.
And not putting yourself first can lead to some pretty devastating consequences. Continually seeking permission and approval from others will not make you happy. At some point you will realize that, indeed, you are alive, but living your life for others, not living your life for you, and have wasted the opportunity to do so. It happens too often. See a lot of people, or it's just, the thought of regret. People always have that what if type of, thought as they progress through their life. But we'll say, past, midway point, essentially. Average life expectancy. I don't know the exact numbers, but
it's mid-70s.
80,
70s, I think. It's to a point where you got more life behind you than in front of you.
Yeah, and also we don't know how much life we have.
Yeah, true.
But we'll say, all right, mid-70s, so, that is, mid-30s, mid 30, 40s is your halfway.
Yeah, it's like
your halfway point.
Yeah.
And I guess that makes sense. That is around the time where, quote unquote midlife crisis, and they start to realize, oh shit, like, what have I been doing with my life?
And once again, I got just about more of my life already through than what I most likely got left. That's nuts. And yeah, that midlife crisis thing, that's why I see people, one, start to really sprout, particularly men, because there's always that kind of idea that most men don't hit their prime till their mid-30s, even early 40s. So that's why you see mostly men start to really hit their stride then, and then a lot of women kind of tanking then, because they may be fucked up. But that goes for men too, and women as well. Some women will sprout at that age too. So yeah, it's right around that midlife point, some shit might start happening.
There's no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside you. Maya Angelou. Whether you are 23 or 43, 19 or 59, your life is yours. Although you may seek guidance and advice from others on how to live your life, the decision and choice is yours. We said it time and time again. There may be consequences from your choices, but you do not need permission to see life to live life how you see fit. And, because the choice is yours, you got to be able to take, ownership and responsibility for the certain choices you make. Because you can make those choices. And the ones you decide to take, whatever happens.
And that's on you.
And that's on you, yeah.
You know what? And just own that, right? I mean, it's just healthier for yourself when you own those choices for yourself. Yeah.
And also, contrary to popular belief, being selfish on occasion is healthy. Like every human on this earth, you can make mistakes and some stupid decisions. We all have done it. But it's all part of your growth and understanding of who you personally are and what you want. Once you start to figure out who you are and your wants in life, you can see your previous thoughts on things may start to change drastically. And the great thing is, you have permission to do so. I can attest for this, I would say even 5 years, the growth I've had, mentally, physically, spiritually, financially, as a person, just learning from my past and learning more about myself. And once you essentially learn, more about yourself, then you can really know where to go. Your wants, your don't wants, your likes, your dislikes, and you live life accordingly. Trying new things. All right, I don't like to do this thing. I won't ever do that again. We can also say this for employment standpoints. It's like, jobs I have in the past, fucking hated those jobs. Here we are now. Opportunities for employment at those type of jobs or in the same, area are available. But since I've already had that past experience, I'm going to do everything I can to not have to take those. We'll say restaurant business or retail and such. And yeah, you grow, the way you think changes, how you think on things changes, and yeah, that choice is, you're open to do that. No one's going to stop you. You might have one thought on one thing, later on learn something new, and that one thought completely changes. Mm-hmm. You can do that. You don't have to be the same and stick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, once you
to it.
Yeah. Once you learn more about yourself, then that opens up learning about other things. Like you were just saying, things you like, don't like, things you like to talk about, don't like to talk about, people you like to hang out around, and vice versa. Yeah, a lot of that. Most of that just starts with yourself and taking previous experiences and applying them to the future. Like you were saying with other jobs. Like now I know I'm never working no goddamn fucking retail job ever again. I never did a restaurant job, but I know for sure I'm never going to do that again. Yeah, and that's why I don't include some of those older jobs on like my resume, because I don't count them. Because I'm just a different person now.
That being said, you have permission to change your mind on whatever. It doesn't matter, as it could be politics, religion, pursuing a career, or college majors. It's all right to change your mind. And not only is it all right, it is a right. And it's yours. I won't dabble too much on this, but we'll say, fresh out of high school, all those kids going to college, they have a thought of what they want to major in. They want to study. They go study that, introductory classes, their first semester. They learn they fucking hate exactly what they're going into. And then they change. It's exactly what we're saying here. You have the option to do that. Just because you're locked in doesn't mean you're locked in. Even if, you have these quote-unquote, like, grandfathered in type deals and whatever.
Don't mean shit.
Don't mean shit. You have the choice to change it.
Just because what got grandfathered in was something those people chose to do. I mean, you gotta do it. I think that's something that's really affecting generations now, is the push that they get from their parents and stuff like that, to be like what they were in their parents before them and whatnot. But you see it quite frequently nowadays that younger kids are like, no, fuck that, and do something different. And rightfully so. When you operate in a world in which the internet is as prevalent as it is, like, there's no reason to just do something the old wall did. That makes no sense. There's so much opportunity out there. Go explore.
Yeah, I don't know why it's coming to my mind. It might get flagged or shadow banned.
No, I think we are anyway.
But I wanted to say something along the lines of like the royal family and Prince Harry. It's like Prince Harry didn't want to go do that shit, so he left. He's Prince Harry. At some point, he was going to be king. Right? Is that how the heirs go and stuff? Okay. I don't want to dive into too far into this.
I was going to say, you can go a lot more with that discussion as to why he's not really a part of it anymore.
But, I mean...
It has something to do with his wife.
We'll say, he was with the royal family. He didn't want to be with the royal family. So he left. There was a lot of backlash for his decisions. Yeah. But he deemed it was the best thing for him to do. So he did it.
Yeah.
We'll tie it back here. Even though you have things all lined up, and it might seem all good and great on paper, if it's not you, it's not you.
Yeah.
You have the choice to leave. So leave.
Goddamn reptiles.
You don't have to seek permission to live your life or change your mind. You sometimes need to be a little stubborn to live the life you want. We're not saying not seek advice from those who have more experience, but their lives are not yours. Their experience do not correspond with what may be best for you. Only you can determine that. Usually, their want for you may come from a place of fear, their own. And you can't let their own fear be yours. And this is perfect for, say, children growing into adults, and
Hey guys, hi Michael. I'm gonna take Maitland down to the beach. Could you move your car for me?
yeah.
Yeah, sure. God damn it.
Technical difficulties. We'll be right back. We love you guys. Give us one moment.
All right, we're back, guys. Appreciate that. Technical difficulties arose, but Michael, pick us back up.
Like Eric was saying, sorry about that. I had to move the Aventador out of the way so our folks could go to the beach. It is a beautiful day out.
In their Urus.
You got to do what you got to do. But as we were saying, it's you can take advice from others who may have more experience than you. We'll say, mentors, superiors, and such and so forth. But, most of the time, what they want for you comes from a place of fear, their own fear. And you can't let their fear be yours. Before we left, I was going to go into, as children evolve into adults, their parents are always going to be telling them, the life, essentially, the parents want their children to live. They're like, if you follow the standard dogma as what they were raised to do, go to school, go to college, get a good paying job, yada, yada, yada. It's all very safe. And, out of fear, they don't want to see you broke, miserable, sad. And that typically comes from, their perception of those who are quote unquote uneducated and bums, essentially. They don't want you to be they don't want you to be a bum.
No.
Or the typical framing of, a bum. You look up image of a bum, you'll probably think of like a hobo, homeless person.
Yeah.
Some junkies and such. They, out of fear, they don't want you to live that type of life, so they'll do everything in their power to, suggest and change your mind to live a way so they are not fearful of, how you turn out.
It depends on your parents' mentality, too, right? Because there's the inverse of that. Depends on if there's some selfish motherfuckers. A lot of times, there's a certain level of envy that is passed upon you if you live a life that they wanted to, but they couldn't because they chose that lifestyle. I have dealt and am somewhat dealing with this at the moment. You gotta brush that shit aside too. Gotta do what you want. And another reason why they don't want you to possibly be like a bum is because it gives them a bad image too. Like I said, it all depends on the mentality of your parents and if they're if they genuinely care about what you do no matter what. And so on. Or if they're very selfish, that sort of thing.
Yeah, you're right about the image thing as well.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, you're very right about the image.
Yeah.
Like, you could have a...
how's your son doing? Oh, he's a bum, basically.
Yeah, you can have, a very multi-billionaire, parent and stuff, and they have their slacker, bummy son or child that, makes them look bad.
Mm-hmm. A lot of times I feel like...
Or even then, if it's just average, average parents and family, you're still, or you're trying to uphold some type of image through, your offspring rather than producing said image.
The biggest one is when you have
yourself.
two parents that went to established universities and they got degrees over a long study period. Let's say, your parents both went to the University of Michigan and are both doctors and lawyers, right? But you don't want to do that. But then it's going to give them a bad image because they're alumni from these illustrious schools and blah, blah. Oh, but my son he didn't go to school. He does computer programming at home. So it's going to give them a bad image in their mind because, yeah, you get the idea. I feel like that's the biggest one.
And, it's the same thing for all these, we go back to kids graduating high school and all of them going to these well-renowned universities and schools and such. Some of them, they know exactly what they want to study and they'll shoot for it, but others, they're just trying to look good. It's all ego from, we'll say, the student that will be attending those schools and also the parents. It's like they're both parties are trying to flex. It's like, oh, your student got a full ride to so and so, but my student's at Harvard at an Ivy League school, and shit like that. It's like, oh, well, you're going to community college. I'm going to,
I'm going to Yale. I'm going to fucking Oxford, motherfucker.
Yeah, I'm going to LSU. I'm going to these big party schools. And so I'm going to have a fun ass time. So it's all a weird flex. But, you as an individual, you know yourself best. You have the power to say no. You have the right to say no. Do you really want those rights taken away? We could dive into a whole different subject about rights, but we'll save it for another episode. It might be on Three Kings. Who knows? We'll stick on the regular subject. So, to live how you want, there must be a willing to give up things, such as tradition, the quote-unquote normal, and what others want you to do. You will face adversaries and detractors, but the question you must ask yourself is, what are you willing to give up to live the life you want? The answer will be up to you, and only you. The life you want is already in your hands. It's been granted. You just have to go get it. Previously in an episode, we talked about we're all humans. We all have the same abilities. We might have different upbringing, such and so forth, different starting points for the race. But we all have one finish line. We all get buried. We all die. That's kind of it. I would say we're all buried 6 feet under, but sometimes that doesn't mean it happened. There's different methods of disposing.
I was reading Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey this morning. Great book, by the way, if anyone wants to read it. And he has a blurb in there about ceilings are man-made. And it's not, literally, yes, ceilings are man-made. But the idea that you put a ceiling on yourself is a man-made concept. Because there's truly, sky's the limit, right? And he went into, it's the same thing, kind of like with the Atlanta Falcons and the Patriots from a few years ago. He was talking about this football game. It was, no, I can't remember. The Oilers and maybe the Bills or something like that. And one of the teams was winning 28-3 at halftime in the playoff game. And they ended up losing 41-38. And it's because mentally they put a ceiling on themselves that, they're so far ahead and whatnot. And that's what people do in life too. They get to a certain point, they in their mind, they're capped out, right? They've hit the top. Well, you never really hit the top. So all in all, ceilings are a man-made concept. Because there really is no limit to how high you can go. And I mean that on every basis, right?
I can agree on that. I have an example of that. Yesterday I went disc golfing. I asked myself, what do I want to throw today? I told myself, let's just stay consistent. I'll throw +1 the whole course.
Fine.
What I do? Threw fucking +1 the whole course. So, I manifested it, and it came true. But I had the opportunity to birdie a lot of them.
That's how it was on my round of golf.
But because I told myself I want to finish out +1 the whole thing, I ended up throwing +1, bogeying everything.
I mean, that's good too. That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to look at it from a score standpoint, bogeying a whole round, that's not bad. I mean, unless you're... Is there pro disc golfing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Unless you're a pro, it's probably not too.
Yeah. Disc golfing is kind of becoming a really hot topic now. We might dabble into it. We're definitely gonna be dabbling into some regular golf as well. I gotta
catch one of the sticks, man.
I gotta step up my sports games and everything.
Wag your toots out here. Hey, like we talked about, man. That's a retirement thing. Michael and I we've conspired to be like Happy Gilmore eventually, and once we have so much free time, we're just gonna get really good at golf or maybe disc golfing, and we'll just be those two tour players that just shoot the shit, right? And be like, oh, and here is Eric. He's not a pro golfer. He's just pretty good. He does it for fun. And he does some other kick-ass shit. Okay. Yeah. I think that'd be fun.
So to get us back on topic, nice tangent. I do love it. We will talk about more sports. Could say successes in the sport. Just basically just learning the game, improving. Yeah, we'll see. But, the life you want to live is already in your hands. It's been granted. You just have to go get it.
Mm-hmm.
Which leads us to our next section. And some questions I want to ask the listeners. What have you been dreaming or been putting off? Or what idea have you been eager to make a reality or action in your gut you want to take? If you got your answer, good. Now what are you waiting for? Truly, what are you waiting for? Sometimes it's good to wait, such as saving up money to invest into something promising, rather than digging from your emergency fund, or worse, having to get into debt. But all too often, we miss our golden opportunity, even if we wait. We could say cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. At one point it was 60, now it's down to 30. You could still be waiting to save money, potentially go down, it could go back up. Who knows? But if you take that shot, you save money to try to invest in something. In that time, you wait, if we use Bitcoin as an example, it could not be at these prices anymore. It could be up, or it could be down.
Yeah, I didn't think this drawdown would happen, but if you didn't have a chance to get in back in February, well, here's your fucking chance right here.
Yeah. So, at times it's good to wait, but all too often we miss our golden opportunity regardless.
Yeah.
Rather than waiting, we should be making life happen every single day.
Yeah.
Starting today and starting now is one of the best things you can do for your dreams. For it gets us over the fear of starting in the first place. The first step is always the hardest. So just start.
Yeah. Patience is a great thing. Excuse me. But it can also be the bane of a lot of people's existence. Because patience can also teach complacency. There's times to be patient, but there's also times to be aggressive. And you gotta find that fine line. Like right now, we'll use crypto as an example again. Uses both, right? It's about being patient, but also about being aggressive if you're in that position too. But for the people that stayed patient on its climb up, it's like, oh, it's gonna come back. a terrible way of thinking about it. It's better to be in a market than not in a market. I mean, unless you're buying a 64K and eating that drawdown, that sucks. But then that's on you for not doing your research adequately. So, you just gotta keep that in mind too. Depending on what you're looking at, right? That's for an asset class, not whole life necessarily, but yeah.
A pitfall many trip themselves up in when they start something is starting properly. In a world that is obsessed with instant fame, success, and gratification, it's become, personally I would say, becoming harder and harder to start something new without either feeling like a failure right off the bat or never getting to the flow state due to unrealistic expectations. Take, for example, this podcast.
I was really just thinking about this. Go ahead. We're going to elaborate more on that?
Oh, I know. I just want to throw it out there. Have a nice pause.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, like, we debate even, who knows, man, we might have even been making episodes yet.
Yeah, we could have just been recording so far, not been releasing them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we didn't want to release them because I think it's fair to say we were hesitant. Yeah, we didn't know what the feedback would be like and or how it would look, but that was us more so thinking about the end result rather than just getting in it.
First step is always the hardest, and that's what we didn't want to. We wanted to make
it
the
perfect.
that perfect first step.
Yeah, and it's like, shout out to John from Modern Life Dating. He told me personally, like, think about Joe Rogan's first podcast episode. Those early ones, those were shit. Those were dog shit podcast episodes. But he did it anyways. Now look at, he's got the biggest podcast in the world by a long shot. It's not even close. I don't think, me personally. That dude, whether, I don't like some of the choices he's made, and this isn't, I'll show it after this, but he made it, that's for sure. I don't like some of the choices he made, like the Spotify one, but it's his life, not mine. Dude,
he started it.
He fucking put in hard work. What was he at? Almost 1,700 episodes? It's insane. That's fucking nuts.
Yeah, he started it, and doors opened for him to make the choices that, he's made.
See, and if it wasn't for him doing that, then who knows? Maybe you and I wouldn't even have this opportunity, because after his podcast started to really blow up, then the whole podcasting industry, I feel like, started to take off. You need people like that to take the chances and to pioneer things. Well, it doesn't happen.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's also Revan, too. Revan told us, just upload it, dude. Just upload it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, just do it. Who fucking cares? And we were like, yeah. Exactly. Who cares? Just get it up there. Get it out there. Then we can start to make it better over time. So you can actually, there's literally a timeline of it getting better.
And, when you start things and start properly, don't expect things to be effortless or to be a guru right off the bat. Because it is an excellent way to start something you'll never follow through and never finish. Just because X person had X outcome in a short period of time or a little effort does not mean you'll be the same. You could say, I don't know, when I said that, say this, first thing that comes to my mind is like bodybuilding. Genetics do play a big part in bodybuilding. Just because someone can, everyone's different. So we'll say person A works out like once a week, eats a shit ton of food. We don't know his body makeup, how his body functions, but through great genetics, he's still pretty shredded. No, I wouldn't say shredded, but still in good shape. We'll say fit. Mm-hmm. And then you have someone over here who, works out every single day, is doing everything they can, and like they're saying, just very slow progress. Progress is progress, but slow progress. They can be very, discouraged to even want to continue because they're not seeing as fast as results as other people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of times too, I feel like it might just be even little tweaks to your habit. But anyhow, like look at you and me, as far as like people that look different, completely different physique types. That's it. Just some people have completely different physiques. For me, it was like just doing more cardio, and then a lot of that fat I didn't want off just got shaved away like it was nothing. I feel like you maybe have had something similar too. Yeah, a lot of times that's what it is, just extra cardio, or at least it seems to be.
Yeah,
cardio. Don't skip leg day.
I don't know if I put anything in here about this, but well, I guess you can kind of tie it in with like just because one person had such outcome, with whatever they did doesn't mean you'll have the same. That just basically means stop comparing yourself to others. Like compare yourself to who you were yesterday, or a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. I want to say that's something I do. Yeah, if I look at my fitness journey, I look back at myself. I don't need to compare myself to other people. At my height, we can look at other people at my height, and then we have completely different physiques. And I don't get disheartened. I don't get discouraged. Frankly, I don't fucking care. I just look at myself. I'm like, all right, well, this is, this is how they look, and this is what they went through, but this is what I went through.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that really matters to me.
Yeah. There's people that are my height, have a similar physique, that are way more shredded than me, and that's fine. All I know is right now, I like the work I put in, and I wake up and I feel good every day. Whether it's like, physically I feel good, or two, I look at myself and I'm like, yeah, looking good. And I don't have to worry about making drastic changes, because, like I said, I feel good. I'm going to continue to just keep improving in the facets that I'm trying to.
So, we'll continue. Have you ever felt disheartened when at the gym? When looking at other attendees? People who might be in more shape than you, more shredded, bigger, stronger, yada, yada, yada. Have you ever felt embarrassed when starting something new and messing up? Have you ever faced rejection when pursuing your dreams? I can say yes for all three of these.
Agreed.
And I bet you have at some point as well. Like not all three of these, maybe, but at least one of these. And like I said, I don't let these feelings get to me. And I just press through. Now you can call it a barrier to entry or a challenge. Starting is one battle, but starting in a good way to not get burned out is another. An example of this would be all the people who start gym memberships at the beginning of the year with their New Year's resolution.
God damn it.
Or, right before spring break, where the summer begins. They're all hyped up on hopium. Just like, I'm going to get in shape, going to look good for the new year. New year, new me, I'm going to be fit. Spring break's coming around, I got to look good for the beach. Summer's coming around, I got to look good. But, the way they start is, they get burned out way too fast. Those people, see them for a week, don't see them ever again.
Well, I think a lot of times with that, it's they don't actually want. Clearly, they don't want to do it, because if they want to do it, then they want to just quit that quickly. Well, it's because that's like the societal thing to do, right? With New Year's resolution, indoor, like the summer bods. But a lot of times people just don't want to actually do it. They just feel compelled to because that's the normal thing to do.
Yeah. And, you know, you have to find a way to plant the seed of consistency. And, this is exactly what I wanted to go into. You know, one way of doing so is to get over comparison to others. Start whatever you want, whatever you have interest in, and forget how it compares to those at the top. You know, get over the instant gratification / young money fetish society has bred. You know, don't lose hope that you aren't showing off Lambos on social media at X age or Y age. And lastly, get over your own expectations. Although it's good to have those, don't be so rigid that if you fail to meet them, you beat yourself up. Just know you're growing. That's all that matters. And, you know, it goes back to the part about comparing yourself to others. We'll say you're going to the gym. If you're not in shape, that's the reason you're there. To get in shape. Now, I know there's a bunch of, regular gym goers that, you're new to the gym. You have your regulars that go in. They're fucking shredded. They're in great shape. They're looking good. The reason they're like that is because, they're regular gym goers.
Mm-hmm.
Don't compare you at day one to their day whatever, because they don't compare.
It doesn't make any sense.
You can't compare. If I would say the only way you could really compare is all right, their year 3 is the same as your year 3. That would be the only comparison you could do. But just because you're starting something new, you can't compare to people who are at the top, who have skin in the game, if you don't have none.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you?
I don't walk on the fucking golf course expecting to beat Tiger Woods in a match play. That's just retarded. He's been doing it for so long. It's even I don't even step into the MMA gym trying to be better than some people in there. I'm just starting. You gotta have zero expectations, right? No matter how good of a learner and how quickly you might pick up on things. It's your first day in there. If you've never done something before, then you're not going to be as good as what you can be. That's perfect. That's good. Never walk into something where you expect an outcome. You can't expect shit. And you're also not going to be guaranteed shit. Just get that through your fat fucking head. I'm just kidding. But,
yeah. Just start something. Keep doing it. Keep growing.
Just try things. You might not like it, and that's fine. Try things.
At least you know. You try things. If you like it, now you know. If you don't like it, now you know. You're growing. That's all that matters.
Mm-hmm.
Richard Branson once said, "My attitude has always been, if you fall flat on your face, at least you're moving forward. All you have to do is get up, try again." True, man. Say if you're in a race, you fall face flat. You're still going forward. Get up.
Yeah, exactly.
You're still going forward.
Yeah. Unless somehow you fall backwards, but I don't know how that happened.
Concepts such as these are simple. Same as success. But simple is not always easy. Rather than beating yourself up when you fail or fall short, embrace your imperfections and the ups and downs of the journey. Whatever you start now, however small, imperfect, and doesn't match up to others, just know one day that one thing might become something massive and successful down the road. This can only be achieved, however, if you start now, and only if you start in the right way. that keeps you going. In the end, your future self will appreciate your past self and will live in the outcomes of your previous choices and what you started then. So start now and invest in yourself, your future, your capacity to have an impact on the world, and your own potential to create something marvelous. A part of the key to success is just starting. Actions speak louder than words, so quit quacking like a duck, start soaring like an eagle. It's kind of it. It's kind of it. You gotta start. You gotta start. There's a lot of things that are gonna hold you back from starting, but Joe Rogan says it's just you gotta build momentum. You start, keep doing it. That momentum will keep driving. It's just kind of like a snowball effect.
Yeah, it's what does it take? 90 days to build like a habit of something on average. It takes time, but if you actually are passionate about what you're doing, then you'll get there eventually. You know, if that pool's cold, yeah, you could just take the full leap and be a savage, or if not, just work your way in. Just get just dip your feet in the water. Slowly work your way in. Like I said, or you could be a savage and just jump in because you don't fucking care. It's up to you.
But a lot of you aren't savages. You might think you're savages. When push come to shove, you ain't no savages. You just have to start. Start somewhere. You know, if you start from nowhere, that's where you'll be.
Look at you today. You started from somewhere.
Yeah. Does that make sense? If you start from nowhere, that's where you'll be. Nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta start from somewhere.
Mm-hmm. And if up until this point in your life, like I said, you started at some point in your life, right? Now you're here. Now if you gotta start again, like we've iterated before, you're not starting from nowhere now. You're starting from somewhere. You start from experience that you've just had over the past, we'll say 20 years. Just a number, but... And now you know what not to do. You just gotta start. Quit putting off fixing your life. Then if you keep putting it off, then you're never, ever gonna change anything about it. You're just denying and delaying the inevitable that you're a fucking bum and you're gonna stay like that.
And it's your choice.
Mm-hmm.
It's your choice. Own up to it. Because if you keep making excuses about not starting something, and you reach that midlife crisis, and you start questioning, why didn't I do it? Or what would life be if I did do said thing I kept making excuses about? You know, you can't get that time back.
No.
You can't get anything back from the past. The past is the past. But
Yeah, you just gotta be able to let things go as well. Something happened, just let it go. Accept it and let it go. Own up to those bad choices. Own up to those choices that got you in that bad place in which something bad happened to you. Don't have a carefree mind about it. Like, I love the saying, it is what it is, but don't have that saying, it is what it is, and live in a no-fault world where, in that case, it is what it is. You put the work in, something goes wrong, alright, it is what it is, let's do better now.
yeah. I guess you can, other people can look at people with that type of mindset as well. It's like, oh, they're a bum. It is what it is. So, make it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yours.
Your own definition of it. Yeah. Got anything else to add?
That's it. Give us the wrap up.
Cool. So, just a few points. the overall topic initially was living life permission-free. Basically, get yourself out of those chains. Stop being a slave to what people tell you. Some limiting beliefs and abiding by what society says. Reaching that midlife point in your life, pretty much the make or break stage. What we were just hammering here, you can always change your pathway. You can always change the trajectory of your life. It's just a matter of if you actually want to. Don't be a perfectionist. You start somewhere, right? It might be ugly, that's fine. And as I was just saying, you start somewhere in life. Time to get to work. And that's all I got.
Cool. Well, be sure to like, dislike, comment your thoughts, good or bad, share and subscribe. Ring the bell so whenever we upload a new episode, you'll get a notification to stay up to date with the info we put out. You can follow the podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Unlocking Success. Follow me everywhere at Rich Homie Vang. Follow Eric on Instagram at Eric_Eclipse. On Twitter at I Am The Eclipse. We'll be sure to link everything in the description. And that's the show. Hopefully you enjoyed and are one step closer to unlocking your definition of success. We love you. Appreciate the support, good and bad. Thank you. Take care. Keep striving. We're out. We'll see you Saturday for UFC Fight Night 32. Sandhagen versus Dillashaw. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too.
Right? I said everything's correctly?
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, guys. Until then,
on it.
we'll see you later. Peace out. Have a blessed day.
Mwah. Love you.
Bye.